Good morning and welcome to today's webinar on data management plans. As Miriam said, my name is Maria and I work with Karin as data steward in the data management team in NBIS. And today we will go through and we will try to convince you together with Karin about the value of the data management plans. But before we start, we would like to ask if has any of you heard about the data management plan before? You could raise your hands. You don't have to open cameras or anything. If anyone has heard. Good, one person. That's nice. Okay, a couple more. Okay, that's good. That's nice to hear. And has anyone written a data management plan before? A couple of you, yes. Nice. Great, thanks. Okay, but let's go further. So in today's webinar, we will cover the topic of data management planning, a data management plan. You can think of a data management plan as a checklist to go through in different stages of your project. It's like a pilot's checklist before the takeoff. So today we will go through what the data management plan contains and how writing such a plan is useful actually in your project. And we will also demonstrate to you Data Stewardship Wizard, which is a tool that SciLifeLab provides to you in order to write a data management plan. And yes, data management is a very broad topic. A lot of things to consider, and it's easy to lose things on the way. You can see here so many terms like metadata, data dictionary, repositories, file naming, published data documentation. So, how do we gather all the decisions that have been made, and how do we know that we have covered it all? How do we know that our data will be well managed throughout its cycle, its data life cycle? Well, I suppose you have guessed it right. The answer is to write a data management plan. Yes. So let's see what a data management plan is in more detail. So as we mentioned already, you can see there's a pilot's checklist before takeoff, and it's a document addressing requirements and practices for managing the project's data, code, and documentation throughout the data life cycle. This means from the initial planning until the project ends and beyond. Here you can see the cycle. You can start with the planning of your data, collecting, processing, analyzing, preserving, share it, and reuse it if possible. So then you can start another cycle. So with the data management plan, you can outline data management strategies in a project. And what is that? Making plans for how you will collect your data, document them, organize them, and preserve. All these are parts of data management strategies. So let's see now how a data management plan can drive resource efficiency. So why it can be useful and how it can be useful to you. So a data management plan as a checklist. It can help you identify gaps in data management strategies early on. And if you do that early on, it can save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. So you can go through the process of planning. This is more important actually than the plan itself, because plans can actually change, but the planning, so having thought about different scenarios in your project, will never fail. A data management plan is a very good way to clarify responsibilities regarding the data and the data management. For example, who will be responsible for the execution of the data management plan? And it can also enable you to estimate costs early on with regards to data production, for example, to storage that you might need, to data management, to name a few. And it can facilitate collaboration in your projects. So when you have several members in a project, it is important to decide early on again on standards that all collaborators should adhere to. For example, how to organize your data, how to name your data, or the metadata standards to use, to name a few again. Furthermore, by planning how the data will be managed, you have more opportunities to have your data well managed. And this is very beneficial for various reasons, but the main ones are that this enables reproducibility and reusability. Reproducibility, it means that you can have your results verified and replicated. And reusability, you can use your data again to answer other scientific questions if needed. A data management plan is a first step towards fairness. And I don't know how many of you have heard the word FAIR before, the FAIR principles. You could raise your hands again. Some? Yes, good. Great. So the ones you have heard that before, you may know that it stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And all these are principles that help and promote collaboration in your research, sustainability, continuity, reproducibility. So this is very important to start making your research fair. And last but not least, a data management plan is more and more a requirement from funders and other stakeholders for reasons of transparency and openness, because publicly funded research data must be discoverable, accessible, and reusable to the public. And then it gives a return on investment, because well-planned data maximizes the research potential of the data and provides greater returns on public investments and research. So these are very good reasons to why to write a data management plan and how it can drive your research efficiency. So all good up to now, but let's see a bit more when it's time to write a data management plan. So it's a living document. The initial version is written the same time as the project idea emerges. So it's good to start writing a data management plan as early as possible, as early as the project idea emerges. So you can start with the project planning phase. The data management plan in that phase, it outlines the strategies in sufficient detail to be able to estimate the resources needed to implement the data management plan, so that this can be included in the proposal for funding, for example, and can have information about data production, data analysis, storage during and after project, costs related to publishing of data. And then it can be updated when the project is actually starting. It can be completed with various details, for example, about documentation, data quality measures, files, folder strategies, etc. And this can be complemented during the whole project until you reach to the end of your project, when the data management plan will be updated with links to published data and details about archiving, what data is there and where. So the document can enable future reuse of the project for you and for others as well. We can go a bit deeper now to see the main parts of the data management plan. We can start with a description of the data. And in this section, you identify the types of the data that you will create or collect, if there are quantitative, qualitative, or if there are images, for example. And you will also outline the formats that you will use, the amount or volume of data that you will produce, or instruments and equipment that you will use. And then you have the documentation. So documentation, we all know that is key to making your data understandable or usable. And so in this section, it's all about creating clear and consistent documentation about the data. How will the material be documented and described? For example, how was it collected? How does its variable mean? What methodologies were used? Here you can also use electronic lab notebooks, as mentioned in the first square, or laboratory information management systems. And here also metadata plays a very vital role. Metadata, you know, is data about your data. So it describes the content, the structure, and meaning of your data. So let's see some more examples now that they might sound familiar to you. In the beginning of the project, maybe you have all had a couple of questions, and without a data management plan, maybe it can be more confusing. So a data management plan can help you go from guesswork to actual planning. For example, questions like how much data will I produce, or how much storage will I need, or how much my analysis will cost. Do I have the resources? I will be on parental leave or another type of leave for a long time. How can my colleagues continue to work when I am away? Or I need to write a proposal now and data management plan is required. So what do I do now? Where do I find all the information, and do I have the time to do that? So without the data management plan, this can be quite confusing and create some stress. But if you have already data management plan in place, you will have thought about a lot of these questions. So you will have clearer estimates of data volume and storage needs, about costs also, and resources planned in advance. You will have documentation that will support continuity if you're on leave, and everything will be in place when writing proposals or other material. So it gives peace of mind. We can go further, to see other parts of data management plan. And here we have the storage and the backup. So data storage and backup are fundamental for safeguarding your work during the research process. And in this section, you outline where the data will be stored and ensure that storage complies with your institutional or legal requirements. Then, of course, the backup is very important to have backups, because you have a safety net if something happens, if you lose your data or you have a damage or something. So this section really takes you through all the steps and make you think about this. And then we have the fourth section of the legal and ethical aspects. So how is data handled, and are there any legal requirements? These questions are in this section. So you have to ensure compliance with legal and ethical requirements, to think about if you are working with sensitive data. And then you can also think about the compliance with GDPR or intellectual property rights. So talking about backup, exactly, and storage needs, you can all may relate that accidents or just research life happen. So you might find yourself in a position where you will wonder, like, where should I store my data and will it be secure? Or I have lost my data and I don't have a backup. What do I do now? Or is my data sensitive actually? How should I know? Who should I contact? Where to start? Where can I find all this information? So without a data management plan, again, you can have a lot of questions, maybe have some panicky situations. But if you have written already a data management plan, you will have some answers there. You will have thought about these things. So secure data storage will have been planned, and you will have a backup strategy in place. Also, legal requirements like GDPR compliance will have been checked. So again, peace of mind. Last sections is about accessibility and long-term storage, which is also very important for continuity of your project. So here we addressed the how, when, and where your data and the metadata will be shared, such as in public repositories and institutional archives. And also, it's important here to mention and to think about conditions for access of your data, especially if your data is sensitive data for later on. And then you have to think here also that long-term storage ensures that your data remains usable years after the project ends. So that's very good for collaboration later on and reusability of your data. And finally, we have the section of responsibility resources. where you define the responsible persons for managing your data and identify the resources needed throughout the project. So proper planning here prevents gaps and ensures the project runs smoothly. So again, you can think once again about organizing your data, naming conventions, and the backup strategies. So in the end of your project, when the project is almost ended and it's time for publication, you might have a lot of questions that without a data management plan will take more time to go through. For example, you will have many delays or extra efforts during data deposition. Many journals actually require to deposit your data during publication. Or you might find yourself having missing or incomplete metadata. And now what? What do you do? You might also need to spend extensive time on data cleaning in the last step, or your data could be difficult to understand and reuse. But once again, if you have a data management plan in place, then you will have identified early the repository to use for your data deposition, and also the metadata standard will be identified and implemented early on. So you are sure that your metadata are as complete as possible. You will have assigned also a responsible person for keeping your data tidy, and all this facilitates your data deposition and reuse of your data. Once again, peace of mind if you have a data management plan in place. Yes.
So yes, I think I will take over now. So I know that writing a data management plan can seem a bit overwhelming, but luckily there are templates and tools to assist you when writing. So there are templates provided by funding agencies as the Swedish Research Council or Vetenskapsrådet and Science Europe. These templates provide high-level questions, but no guidelines on how to answer them. And therefore, there are also tools that can provide more guidance. There's one tool called DMP Online. It's very common for the universities. You can check with your institute if they provide DMP Online. It provides good guidance, but it's more generic and not life science specific. And also it provides more free text answer types. Then we also have a tool that is provided by SciLifeLab that is called the Data Stewardship Wizard, which we will demonstrate soon. This provides more life science specific guidance, and you also have a lot of questions with answer options. So multiple choice questions, for example, which then will provide kind of tailored guidance for your needs and your project. Yes, so as mentioned, the Data Stewardship Wizard is a tool to create a data management plan based on interactive questionnaires. You can use your university login, so the Life Science RIID. It also provides collaborative editing, so you can invite the members in the project and you can simultaneously work on the data management plan. It also provides versioning history, and you can export the plan to several formats, but for example, to a PDF or a Word format. And also within this tool, within the Data Stewardship Wizard, we provide templates based on national funding agencies. So if you are to provide a DMP based for the Swedish Research Council, then their templates is already integrated in the Data Stewardship Wizard. So let's go to the demonstration. So you find the DSW tool at dsv.sciliflab.se/wizard. And if you go to that link, you will come to a page, a login page that looks like this. And as mentioned, you can use your Life Science RIID in order to create an account and log in. I will connect with the life science RI ID that I have, and then I just press this button here. So let's see what happens. Then you choose how to log in. I will choose Uppsala University because that's my university. And you get to type in your credentials and then you press login. If you don't have an account, you will be prompted to create an account instead. This is a consent form about releasing personal information at the production instance. So, example, your username or your given name. And I will continue on that. So when you get to the page, to the Data Stewardship Wizard, you first come to a welcome page. Here you get some information on the wizard itself. Also on the left here, you get some guidance on how to write a data management plan. If you click on that, you see further instruction on how to create a project, answer questions, etc., etc. But I will go through this very briefly right now. You also have some videos on how to use this tool. There's also a folder here called projects. So here you can see all your ongoing projects. Here you see my projects. And to create a new data management plan, you simply just click the create button here. But also on the dashboard and the welcome page, you have the same button. So you can just click create. So you first have to name your project or data management plan. I would just type name here. And then you get to choose a project template. There are several to choose from. But as mentioned, Vetenskapsrådet has one template that is integrated in the Data Stewardship Wizard. So I will use that template. And then you press create. And then you get to kind of your project overview. So first you have several sections on the top here. First you have the questionnaire, and here is where you actually answer questions to create your data management plan. So you have several chapters with questions relevant to creating the plan that covers the topics that Maria went through earlier. I will go into more detail on that. But first, I also wanted to show you that there is a metrics tab. And under here, you will get some statistics. And for example, you can see how fair your data is, which is very good. There's a preview folder. Okay, I don't really know why it looks like this, but usually you can see, maybe it's because I haven't answered any questions, but you can see a preview of your documents or the data management plans as you have gone through questions. There's a document section, and here is where you actually create your data management plan and export it by pressing new document. I will show this later on as well. There's also a section called settings, and here you can provide more detail on the project and your plan, and you can also use project tags. Just before going in more to how to answer the questions and so, I just wanted to show that you can share this. So as I mentioned, it provides collaborative editing. So here you can add users, so the members in your project that all are to work on the data management plan. And you can also give them various type of access. So you can give a viewer access, a commenter, editor, or an owner access, which is very good. So there's also a section here called current phase. And if you press that, you see that there are phases before submitting the DMP and before finishing the project. So if you choose that, that can kind of give you a highlight of what question is good to answer at what stage of the project. So if I press before submitting the DMP here, you can see a box here in this question which says desirable before submitting the DP. So it's good to answer that question already in the beginning of the writing of the DMP. So how do you answer the questions then? So you basically just go through the chapters here and you read through all the questions. Here in the overview, just as an example, we can choose these contributors. All the questions are read when you have not answered them, but there is also a short description of what the questions ask. So for contributors, the Data Stewardship Wizard wants you to add each person contributing to creating or executing the data management plan. So to answer this question, I just press add, and then I get like an answered field with various fields. So you can type in the name of the contributor. I would just press Karin here. And you can also type in the email address. There's one function that I wanted to show that is very good, which is called to do. So if I, for example, don't know the email of the contributor at this stage, I can press this to do button here. And then this adds to a to-do list, so I can easily go back and review that question. There's also a comment section, so I can add comments to that question. But here I get to type in the name, the email address of the contributor, the ORCID identifier, and the affiliation. And as I answer the questions, they turn green. And if I haven't provided an answer, they will stay red. There's also multiple choice questions. So if we go to a next chapter, as you can see here, when we go to description of data, you are prompted with more multiple choice questions, so yes or no questions. For example, these questions is, will you be using any pre-existing data? If I press no, then you have simply answered the question. If I press yes, then you will be referred to additional question that is relevant to you. So that's what I mentioned that the guidance is tailored. So based on your project, you will get prompted to more questions or not. There's also helpful links. So here you have some external links to databases where you can search for publications and data or more information about the question. That's just a quick overview on how the various type of questions. As I also mentioned, you have version history here, so you can go back and see how the data management plan have been updated. So here you can see that I answered yes, that there will be that pre-existing data will be used. When you have gone through the chapters and answered the questions and you want to export the data management plan, then as mentioned, you go to documents here. You then press new document and oh, what happened? I would choose this template again, and then I choose the format that I want to use. So I want to export this as a PDF document, so I just choose that, and then I click create. And then it's generating the new PDF document, and then I can just press it to download it. A last thing that I just wanted to mention is that you can provide feedback to the questions. So we absolutely think that these templates can be improved. So if you find it difficult to answer a question, or if you have any other concerns, you can always press the feedback button here, and you can describe your problem and send in an issue to us. It's completely anonymous, so we won't see that it's you that provides feedback, but then you will get any response, of course. But we're happy to get feedback from you. We always want to approve. And of course, you can always contact us if you have any questions. So that was the quick overview of the Data Stewardship Wizard. I hope you will find it useful. I will go back to the presentation now, just for some last slides. So yes, if you want to get some more guidance, or have some more question about research data management, you can always go to this link called data-guidelines.sciliflab.se. This acts like a knowledge hub for management of life science data in Sweden. And it's also a entry point for our support help desk. So you can always send an email to data-management@sciliflab.se, and we will help you with any question that you have. Lastly, we just wanted to bring up some take-home messages. So a data management plan is a checklist for your project's data management practices. And as Maria mentioned, sometimes the process of planning is actually more important than the plan itself, even though it's good documentation. It doesn't have to be perfect. I really think that just doing the planning is very valuable for your project. It helps you identify any potential gaps, and identifying these gaps early on saves a lot of time and effort. SciLifeLab provides guidance. You can use the Data Stewardship Wizard as a tool to write your data management plan, or you can always contact us, and we will give you support and do our best to help to answer your questions. I think that was it for us. Thank you for listening, and we're happy to take any questions that you have.